Judo Yellow Belt versus the average guy. Who would win? Look, as with most of those questions, we are comparing two men that are very similar. So let's say normal, average, adult human male. 1 meter 75 tall, 75 kilograms heavy, XY chromosomes, all that stuff, just normal. When those two are fighting, there's a 50-50 chance of each of those winning if we make each other factor equal, if we assume all the other factors are equal, or if we take 100,000 untrained men, group A, 100,000 untrained men, group B, and then we pair them up. Group A will win 50% of the fights, group B will win 50% of the fights. Now if we change any factor for the better, if we allow one group, because the normal human, average normal man has no martial arts training whatsoever, they have no violence experience, next to no violence experience at all. Don't think that your personal circle is the average. If you grew up in a violent neighborhood, that's not average. Most people did not. If you think just because your friends and your social circle is very adapt to martial arts, if you think then that's the average, that's not true. It's a confirmation bias. To the average account also a lot of men that are just sitting in front of a computer all day and have never done sports in their life. So if we think average man or even normal man, then that's it, untrained human. Now we take one of those groups and we have them train judo, even just 10 hours. Now they have already learned some specific skills which they might or might not be able to apply in a fight, but they will try to make a movement that is better than just the normal human fighting instinct. Because if it would not be better, it would not be trained in a competitive martial art like judo. So we know for sure what they learned in those 10 hours is better than nothing. It's already better. It gives them a higher chance, maybe 60% or 70% chance to beat somebody who has not trained at all. Now we take it further. It's gonna take like 50 to 100 hours for a yellow belt. That guy is already higher trained than 90% of the human population. He knows a lot more. You can talk to a yellow belt who's training and then compare him to the new guys who's coming. Most of the times he will be dominant towards an untrained man. He will be able to throw them. Only just not if the other human is incredibly talented or way heavier, way stronger. That may still happen at that fairly entry-level belt, yellow belt. So if somebody's like 20, 30, 40 kilograms heavier, a yellow belt may still be the non-dominant partner in that interaction, let's say. He will be the one who's getting thrown. He will not be able to overcome his opponent. But he already has a much better chance. Any training that you do, if it's good training, if you do any good training, it will improve your chances. Almost nothing is ever 100% certain in a fight. Some things are incredibly likely or incredibly unlikely, but most things are very likely or very unlikely or a bit likely or a bit unlikely. So I say that even just a yellow belt gives you maybe a 70% chance, which is already good. That means, you know, out of 10 fights, you will win an additional 2 or 3 fights that you would have lost otherwise. So that's already quite an improvement. And of course, the more you train, the higher up those chances go. The higher up your chances go even against people who are heavier than you, stronger than you, more aggressive than you, more ruthless than you. All other factors that are in a fight can be relatified, can you say that? So they can be put into relation if you train your technique. Also, being a yellow belt, having had that training, most likely means that he's better in technique. He has also improved his strategy. He starts to understand fighting a bit better and how another human behaves. The average human has had very little, if any, fighting interaction. So all his idea about fighting is from Hollywood movies and from made-up scenarios in his head. But the other guy has actually touched other humans in fighting, has felt how they move. He has an impression, an actual first-hand experience of the movement of a man who's trying to fight. So he's got better strategy, better mindset even. And also he's trained his body. He's most likely better physical than the other person. Even just after half a year or a year, you will feel in your body physical difference. I'm gonna give you an example. I have a man training with me. He was very skinny. He was less than 60 kilograms when he started. That's like 130 pounds. And about as tall as I, so 170 centimeters, a bit shorter than me, maybe a bit taller, maybe 175, maybe 180, I don't know exactly. But quite skinny, and he has gained 6 kilograms in a year. Which doesn't sound like a lot, that's like 13 pounds. But it is a lot, it's a whole weight class. He has gained so much strength, so much force in just 1 year. Yeah, of course, he's not the strongest still, but he's so much stronger than when he started. So it's not just the technique that he has learned, it's also the way he trained his body. Oh, and yeah, it's still a white belt, right? We're talking about a BJJ white belt with like 3 stripes. And already, he told me yesterday, I feel so good, I can handle himself against most guys in training that are also white belts. Of course not if they're like 20, 30 kilograms heavier, but beginners even that, like he can handle a 20 kilogram heavier beginner, which is a great feat, right? It's a great feat.